Namaste, angels. This is the weekly love reading. I'm beginning with the dice and massage. Eat cake. And email. And if the general has anything to say about it, the reason we're eating cake is because it's a celebration. Spirit says, buy shoes. Dirty movie. And try again. Spirit says no. So if there was a yes or no question, you were wondering, pondering, answer is no. I'm going to go into the spread from the perspective of the divine masculine, beginning with soulmate in my Tony Carmine Salerno Universal Love Oracle and opening to balance. And there is indication of more air and water. This week, the King of Water showed up. There's a lot of love in the general reading. Once again, Twin Flame card, the Two of Water. You'll have to watch it to see. But one thing that did show up was an indication that there's going to be some air and water. And also in the celestial system, as I began to talk about last week, Mars and Venus coming closer and closer and closer together. Well, Mars isn't only a ruler of Aries, Mars is a ruler of Scorpio, and Venus is a ruler of two air signs, Libra and Gemini. So there's your air and water right there. Scorpio and Libra, Scorpio and Gemini. That doesn't mean that it can't be other water signs and or air signs, other zodiac signs in general. Just demonstrating the two planets of love, both the masculine and the feminine one, coming together. And from what I read in the general reading, they haven't come this close together to how they'll be as of October 5th, because every day they keep inching closer and closer together. They haven't been like that since 1995, how they'll end up on the 5th. Also on the 5th this week is the first day of the Feast of Sukkot in the Hebrew calendar. And that's going to last through the 13th of the month. And it's also the full moon in Aries full moon. So a lot going on that day and this week that can hopefully result in this. Coming into balance. If we're not of the air or water element, just the metaphorical, in a metaphorical sense, that the idea of air and water being able to come together peacefully and, happily and joyously is what we're trying to achieve. Soulmate back and opening to inner child, which for me very much so represents air signs with this star over the throat chakra and specifically Aquarius. Soulmate, I'm gonna cut. Earth connection. This is about abundance and the flow of abundance and also earth signs. So they're coming into play too. And they were present in the reading too. I don't want to make it seem like the whole thing was about air and water. It was not. I think everybody showed up. All the elements showed up. It's a party this week. It's an earth connection. Opening up our flow to abundance of not only material things and financial, but also love. Also, Venus is not only like a queen of swords or queen of air, she's also a queen of earth. So that earth connection could have been showing up because of her, because of Mother Earth. And she's, of course, the ruler of Taurus, which is an earth sign too. And for our overall energy, I've come to relationship. Now, this card, according to the author, is about the fact that if we find ourselves having difficulty achieving the relationships, the type of relationships we want with other people, that we need to first look in on ourselves. And there was an indication like maybe of a little bit of hermit for some of us, the need to go within. So if you find yourself in that place this week, check yourself and, you know, correct what needs correcting and then keep it moving. Because this is a really, really awesome week from what I could tell. Feminine about herself. The masculine about the feminine, about himself, and about the union. Overall, the outcome. What would the masculine have the feminine do, surrender, contribute, whatever, you know, to facilitate the union? What is he himself willing, ready to do? And what would the universe have the two of them do? Feminine. Transmutation. We are a continued rise. That makes sense too. I feel it. I know a lot of you feel it. Also, I began in the general reading with Queenofswords. And the need to drink more water. That's always an indication for me of ascension. And also yesterday, I bursted out into song, and I hate musicals, but I myself bursted out into song and with Bobby Shmurda, Hot Niggas. And that is always about ascension for me. So this is the continued rise of the feminine, the masculine with relation to the feminine this week. Oh, this is him in his role. How beautiful is this? This is him the masculine relation to the feminine is, this week is, you know, her divine counterpart. He is following the leader, basically. One thing that we all try to do, but, you know, particularly the masculine is, as it relates to this, is to be more and more like Jesus the Christ, who sets the example. And that's what the masculine is doing this week. How freaking awesome. With relation to himself as it regards to the flame. So he knows who he is. He knows what's up. And this is the fire energy coming through that full moon in Aries, that Mars, again, ruler of both Aries and Scorpio. That's what's coming out of here. This can be about other fire signs too. As can this. It's a fiery week. This card that the feminine higher self shows for her. Also about the fire pushing us, giving us strength, like the sign of Leo, as represented in the tarot. And about the union this week, emergence. So for them, some of us that were like down but not out, we were in the dark. Maybe the masculine was in the closet, as it turned out in the general reading. Maybe we were, maybe we had tucked ourselves away, or at least aspects of ourselves. It's time to like fully come out, to emerge from the darkness, to emerge from the closet. And when I look at this card, I always imagine, because we're like, the darkness has to be somewhere. It must be down there. If she's coming up this way, she must have left that behind. And isn't that what we should all do? Like, leave that behind and just continue to attempt to climb higher and higher and higher. Overall, golden path. This is why we're on the path toward healing. Healing of these relationships, healing of ourselves as individuals, but then of ourselves as units in this eternal love situation that we got going on. The golden path for me is just like the golden, the yellow brick road in The Wizard of Oz. That road leads to the Emerald City. For me, this path leads to the Emerald Ray of healing and of love, to Archangel Raphael, who is like the guardian and the patron of the heart chakra, and love in that sense, relationships in that sense, the healing of them, the healing of all things, of all aspects of our lives. That's what this is about overall. What would the masculine have the feminine do? So this is first and foremost, again, healing the relationship with herself, coming into balance with herself, and then coming into balance with him. That's what he'd have her do. And what is he willing to do? He's paying attention. Aquarius is very powerful this week too. A lot of these messages coming in from Uranus, maybe. Uranus very active. As you will learn, those of you who watch the general reading, when I talk about what's going on in the sky this week, Uranus comes up quite a bit. So that's what this is, as far as I'm concerned. The masculine going into full surrender and just allowing the universe to guide him. Again, he's doing this. He has accepted his role. He is stepping into it. He is allowing it to play out. That requires surrender patience, paying attention, focus, persistence, but like, you know, in the most vulnerable of ways. Just allowing it to unfold, allowing it to happen. He's not happening to it. It's happening to him, you know? And, wow, I'm here for it too. Bravo to the masculine. What would the universe have the two to do? Trilogy of light. To continue again, to try to be more like the divine masculine and feminine of all time. To try to be nearer and dearer to the universe every single day. Just a continued rise. As close as we can to this. I mean, when, you know, nobody's ever, I don't think, it's not really conceivable that any of us will ever make it all the way here, but to try, to strive, to always be a better version of ourselves each and every day. And for the union to continue to be that as well. Outcome, reflection. All of this, it looks like a week of spiritual growth, at least from the perspective of the masculine as it relates to our love this week. All of this causing us and him to, you know, take a look back, to be present, take a look around, and to look forward toward the future. Beautiful. Really liked it that Universal Heart card came up. And now, from the perspective of the universe, hashtag creepy deck, beginning with dark male and opening to Ice Queen. This is Venus for me. And or an air sign, female, or somebody with those attributes, traits, right? Somebody maybe that comes off cold, even though that's not who she is. Obstacles in reverse. And this comes up also in the general too, that Lord Ganesh has knocked obstacles out of the way. So I'm glad that they turned up in reverse like that. All right, there's the obstacles. Opening to dating. So maybe we couldn't date before. Now we're finding whatever was blocking that's gone, and we're able to. And maybe under the moon, again, full moon in Aries on the 5th. Same day. Venus and Mars, all lovey-dovey, right up on each other, under that moon. That can be, the same thing can happen for us. Oh. Got to show you that guy was trying to come through. And look what happened. Did you see this card just fall down? Look what it revealed. Brunette female in reverse. So maybe this is the end to the two of them. And the union triumphant. Union opposite dating now. Dating. I'm going to cut. Last week we had a bunch of stuff coming to a head. A bunch of people being dismissed or decisions being made about different toxic situations, obstacles in reverse again. And, you know, this can be the follow-up to that. You know, it was like to be continued, and here we are. Overall energy is beauty queen this week. The divine couple. Recent past. Near future. Masculine's higher self. Blocks to the union. What the feminine can do, what the masculine can do. Further advice from the universe and the outcome here. Divine couple. True love. Amen. And the recent past. Spiritual growth. I was just saying that spread from the masculine's perspective looked like a spread of spiritual growth. So maybe that's what he in particular has been going through recently, and that's showing up here. The evidence of that. Near future. Children. This can mean a few things. It can be coming out of the union, born of the unions. I definitely pulled the Empress, and I said some of us could be pregnant, giving birth, becoming pregnant this week. Also, you know, obviously very fertile this week. In a general sense, could be with ideas and goals and stuff like that. But I'm with the love reading, and also as part of the general, that can represent birth of, new people too. But this can have other meanings. I want to turn over some more cards. The masculine's higher self, long distance. So the masculine feeling, I feel some of them would like to, for some, this is about travel. This is about movement and is literal. For others, it's metaphorical, but still about travel and like coming a long way. With the spiritual growth. Okay. I forgot this was sitting right here underneath it. He's come a long way. And then for others, it's more, what it looks like. There's distance, okay, between us, be it physically or metaphorically. There's distance, there's space between us. This could be separation too. And, the desire to come out of separation. Blocks to the union. Young female. This can be somebody's daughter. That can be what's held up, like exiting a toxic relationship. Maybe that toxic relationship is with this child or children's other parent. And so that's been a block to the union. Maybe there is difficulty with coming together. Your child doesn't like your spouse, your mate. Your child doesn't like your divine feminine. Your child doesn't like your divine masculine, or their parent, again, putting a block because they don't like this person, or because they're just, not cool people themselves. They're vindictive, manipulative, or whatever. Children coming into play as a block. What can the feminine do about this? She may have to experience some short-term heartache, either because she's releasing, for some cases, she's releasing the relationship with her child's father or children's father. In some cases, she's releasing the situation with her child. Maybe her child is grown, her child is big and still trying to, somehow be like a force in her relationship, or prevent her from having any happiness, from having any joy. In some cases, people are going to have to, even if it's just temporarily, walk away from their own children. In some cases, you're the child and you have to do that with your own parent. Your parent is trying to butt in and you got to tell them to, have a seat and maybe revisit those relationships later too. And that also came up, that there was, my readings always match up. They always align. The topic of the masculine in particular, having a feminine energy with whom he needed to heal a relationship, came up in the general reading. What can the masculine do? Speaking of him, soulmate. For some of us, again, this is a karmic soulmate that we need to release. And that's what he can do. Address this soulmate situation that he has going on. Mother of his child or children. For others, the soulmate does apply to this true love and, with whom he wants to have the children. And so what can he do? Minimize this distance, like come out of the closet. Like I started to say before I even laid the cards, like the general reading suggested, come out of the closet, come back from separation, come out, period. Take your mask off and, approach your life. Your path, jump out on it or onto it. Further advice from the universe: freedom. Take your freedom. And this also came up in the general reading. Whatever that means for you, like taking your freedom. You're free to be with whom you choose, whether your child likes it or their other parent likes it, or your parent likes it or not. You're free to do what makes you happy. Outcome. Dating under the moon. Boom. That's what the universe says. Venus and Mars will come together. Nobody can stop it. Now the Doreen Virtue, romance angels, beginning with attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully and opening to soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. Attraction. Playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Attraction. And honeymoon, more of this moon. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. Attraction. Cut. What is this that's sticking out? It's that playfulness. I'm just going to put it back in arbitrarily. And religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. So this is an indication of what we just looked at. Like those people, places, and things that that we would allow because of the way we were brought up and what we think is right and what we think is wrong and what, our concerns about what society feels and those sort of things. Allowed to be blocks in our lives. And finally, taking back our freedom, taking back control of our life and dismissing those things and releasing those, ties that bind that we had sort of wrapped around our own waists. And the overall energy is free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. What I say? Boom. Forgiving and learning, masculine. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. So letting go of those ideologies and all of that is included with this too. Surrounded by, you deserve love. So that's why you're dropping all of that. Like, I don't care what the neighbors think. I don't care what, my mom thinks, my dad thinks, whatever the case is. My grown ass kid that has their own life that's going to forget all about me soon. Because we forget that too. Like, the children go on, they go off to college, they move out with them. The next thing you know, you done built your life around what they got going on and they have nothing going on with you anymore. They've moved on. And, that's not a slight against them. That's what life is about. They move on, but then they forget. Okay, now I put up that ruckus and my mom or my dad is at home alone, without a companion. We don't think about that. But the parent, they deserve love too. You are lovable to whom that applies. And masculine, express yourself. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. And you're thinking about doing this. Maybe Uranus is pushing you. Also, again, Pluto faced direct on the 28th. So what a change I think that is made. Also, and maybe particularly in the lives of Scorpios. And maybe that's why that in the general reading, again, the Scorpio was the more prominent because, again, it's also ruled by Mars. They're finally able to speak up and come out of the closet and return from separation and rise from, the darkness and all of that stuff now because they're feeling more free already. Those that were affected by Pluto retrograde. And crowning the feminine. Very soon, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. The same goes for us, on our side when we've been living our lives for other people and trying to live sometimes more than one life. I don't want to piss my baby daddy off, so I'm going to, be like this with him and tell him this and that. I'm not going to let him find out about, who I'm dating. We're not together anymore, though. There's nothing between us. Then why are you behaving like this, over him? That's a cord. That's a negative cord of attachment that needs to be cut between the two of you. So if you decide that that's not what you want in your life, whatever it is you decide, I want this and only this. This is what I want in my life. Then that's what you speak into the universe. And you drop, as I told the masculine, those ties that are binding you to negative situations and circumstances still from your past. And maybe even from your past lives, from, karmic situations. Feminine, surrounded by calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. And look at on his side, mirroring that is Cupid and her arrow. Getting it all lined up for us. Cupid, of course, Venus's son. So I think that's very special too. And boom. For the feminine, reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life very soon. But you've got to make the space available. You've got to vacate the space by, even if it's just mental clutter that's taking up the space, mental clutter about somebody else, about another man or woman. Remove them. Crowning the union, worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. But you got to release your ex. As I keep saying, the time has come to clear your energy. Now, for some of us, this is about the need to express ourselves. So again, to come out of that closet, and more so for the masculine. And look, as I say that, I look down and remember that that's the card the masculine has sitting here right next to it. This X is for expression of love, expressing of yourself, expressing of appreciation, which I went over in the general too, with a nice story about Sukkot, which takes place this week on the Hebrew calendar. So for some of us, this is just about coming out of our shell and again, returning from the darkness, having been reborn and releasing our X in that sense. For others, it's a physical X, and it's a negative cord of attachment to them that needs to be cut in order to vacate the space for our soulmate, our divine partner, and for reconciliation to whom that applies, where we've been apart and separate, like the other spread indicated some of us might be in that long distance card that showed up. The heart of the matter, flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. That's how we're going to come back together, where we have had some difficult and challenging experiences together, and people were hurt, and we had to learn from those experiences. We have to extend our sorrow for some. We have to apologize in other cases. We were the wrong that were wrong. And then we say, okay, well, now this is a heavy situation. How do I reconcile now? Now that I'm releasing this guilt and I'm ready to apologize and I'm ready to forgive, like, how do I get there? Flirt. By extending your lighthearted energy to others. So when we approach one another, we're not going to do it from this heavy place, with our baggage and stuff. We're going to leave that behind and just come together from a place of love, because we deserve love. And, release our X as an expression, express our love, and reconcile that way. All right, I'm going to do one last spread. And it's going to be with my numerology cards. And last week I did a spread of 9, but I did it from the perspective in the general reading of like what we could do for ourselves and what was surrounding us. And that's a spread that I sometimes do. I hadn't done it in that way that I did it last week. I did a separate one for the masculine, a separate one for the feminine. And I hadn't done that for a long time, if ever. I couldn't even remember if I had ever done it before. But I'm going to do not the masculine and feminine, but I am going to do that spread. And I'm going to do it from a perspective of I think I'm going to look at the masculine and see for some what action they will take. So not what can they do for themselves this week, but what will they do? What will they do? Because we see that as a collective, they need to express their love. So let's see how they go about doing that. I'm beginning with spirituality in 77. This is my numerology deck, by the way, and opening to music. So some of us may be receiving messages this way. This may be how they express their love, sort of through clairaudience and telepathy, sending us, beautiful songs. I heard a song tonight, and it wasn't on. Like I heard it telepathically. I received it telepathically. This song called Written All Over Your Face. I don't know when was the last time I heard that song. It was from 1990. That may be when I last heard it. And I had to go to YouTube and type in Written All Over Your Face and bring it up. And the name of the group was Rude Boys. And I'm like, Rude Boys? I didn't remember that either. But of course, I did recognize some of the singers in there because they were pretty popular. It was Gerald Levert and I think one of his brothers. The two of them have passed away since, so rest in peace to them. But anyway, yeah, so I started experiencing what we're looking at right now, today. Maybe due to some karmic completion. Who knows? Always nice to look forward to that, though. Karmic completion, spirituality back, and follow your dreams. So we just did a lot of talking about that, about doing what makes you happy. You are free to do that, and you should follow your dreams. Oh, toward love partnership. That's what you should do. And love partnership now at the bottom. I'm going to cut on that note. And I have come to moderation. So this is about balance, right? All things in moderation means finding the happy medium. In all of our, as many of our situations as we can. So maybe one of those family situations that is difficult for us to, sort of navigate, and we're people pleasers and we're trying to make everybody happy. Well, I want to be happy, but I still want my mama and daddy to be happy, and I want my kids to be happy, and I want my ex to be happy, and I want, and okay. So in that case, moderation, like where that can happen, absolutely allow that to happen. We want to do these things in as compassionate a way as we can. But where it can't, we walk away from situations, we walk away from people, and we do what makes us happy. We're not going to relinquish our joy for other people anymore, is what the spread has, or what the spreads have been suggesting. Overall energy is environment. Some of us are going to be changing our environment, moving out of homes that we share with karmic partners and other people. Again, it can be our children, our parents, friends, roommates, mates, exes, whatever. It's a karmic situation. We're changing our environment. For some of us, this can be maybe where you work, whatever. Fours represent foundations. Double fours together mean that the archangels are here helping us to get through this. Whatever change of environment means for you. It could just be removing certain people from your life. That could be a change of environment. They no longer surround you. So, what the masculine will do for himself this week. External energy around that. What God wants us to know, what the universe wants us to know. And specifically what Archangel Michael wants us to know, speaking of archangels. Domestic harmony. What will he do this week? What I was just suggesting, he might change his environment, move into a new place, maybe with you, Divine Feminine. That's happening. At least in the lives of many of my clients, it's happening. He could be moving out away from somebody also. When I picked this up, behind it is another 4. It's perseverance. So where you felt blocked in the past and everything, just keep pushing, keep going now. After whatever your dreams are, your foundations, you're laying this down, how you want to do it. Yeah, the masculine is he's going after and achieving a domestic harmony this week, whatever that means to him. His peace in his home, with whomever, if anybody, he finds peace, whoever brings him peace. That's what he's going to do. What else? Self-love. I love this spread already. This isn't what we've been talking about. doing what makes us happy, what brings us joy, despite how it might affect others. Yeah, self-love. That's what he will do this week. What else? Spiritual partnership. Boom. 29. Well, here it's 27, but in the dice and in the general reading, 29 came up this week. Spiritual partnership. That's what 29 means in numerology. I'm not sure why they gave this number 27. But sevens do mean spirituality and twos do mean partnership. So I guess that applies too. Nines, contrarily, tend to refer to humanitarian works. And of course, partnership is still 2. So that's the difference between 27 and 29. External energy around it. Boom. Karmic completion. This is what's allowing him to make these moves. Okay. He had some karmic situations to get through. And that was certainly demonstrated last week. And I think over the past few weeks. And the feminine maybe in some cases needed to fall back to allow him the time and space and energy to do that. And it's done. What else? Communication. Energy of communications around him now. Well, there is a lot of air energy, except for it doesn't come from Mercury this week. Mercury's sort of obscured. Mercury's been given the boot. And you can see that also in the general reading too. Because last week I talked about how prior to Mars and Venus starting to move closer and closer together, first, both Mars and Mercury were facing Venus. And so like they were fighting for her attention. Well, Mercury lost. So he's out until the end of the month. But communication can still happen. We've still got a lot of air energy. We've got Uranus, we've got Venus, and we've got Aries to add like some aggressiveness to get things off of our chest where we need to. What does God want us to know? Forgiveness. There's a need to extend forgiveness and to seek forgiveness. All the way around for everybody. There's enough for this to go around. What else? Spiritual career. So some of us embarking upon this soon, we don't know it yet. This is what God wants us to know. This is coming up, coming down the pike, as they say. What else? And health. Well, isn't this all about health? Spiritual health, emotional health, even mental health. I would say because you start to unravel when you're trying to be too many things to too many people and like nothing to yourself. So it's all about health to me. The heart of the matter, specifically from Archangel Michael, message to us all. Leadership, as in maybe this week following that divine leader that showed up in the first spread. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I am excited yet again. Our advice this week from the Tony Carmine Salerno Universal Love Oracle to the masculine, birth. So we talked about death and rebirth, talked about the planet Pluto, the planet of transformation. It had been holding some of us back. We weren't able to, be reborn yet. We tried, we wanted to, we couldn't. Now we can. And for the rest of us too, we have the energy of Venus. So that's the Empress. We're surrounded by the energy of the Empress and the energy of the planet of transformation and the aggressiveness again of Mars, the masculine or male planet of love. And we have the male planet of love right up on the female or feminine planet of love. So maybe she gets pregnant this week. Maybe some of you do. Maybe some of us do. Okay, that's birth. For the feminine, it's guardian. And the reason I'm particularly touched about this is because, again, in the general, when you watch the general, those of you who do, you'll see that this week, On the 2nd of October is the feast day of guardian angels. In the Christian religions, guardian angels are celebrated on the 2nd of October. So this is especially, particularly special this week, to me at least. And it's a reminder that, yes, we do all have a guardian angel to protect us and, you know, help us and walk with us down these paths. We're not alone. From the hashtag creepy deck to the masculine, boom! Twin flame. I told you twin flame came out in the general. It's here again. This is the week of twin flame. We're following the leaders. Venus, Mars. We're going to do just like them and get right up on each other. From the same to the feminine, Ice Queen. Here she go. This is Venus right here. So we're going to follow our leader. We're going to follow Mother here on the feminine side. Masculine, codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. You're aware of this, and you're going to change that this week. You're going to change that this week, whatever that means to you. People, places, and things that are toxic to you, be gone in the name of love. And to the feminine, from the same deck, boom, yet again, soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. If you were still confused, yes. There you go. And lastly, from the numerology deck to the masculine, compassion. Begin with yourself, right? Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Compassion. And this is also very much King of Water, which is the card that represented the masculine this week. It was the significator, as they say, for the masculine, the crown, the masculine, the King of Water. He is a warm and compassionate soul. So that's what you're going to be this week. Again, following the leader. And feminine, while they're following the leader, we're following our dreams. How freaking awesome is this week going to be? I hope that you guys have enjoyed the love reading and that you find it helpful. I'll be back with the moon reading. Namaste, angels.